Hey underdogs, welcome back to Underdog Rise, the podcast where we rise together. I'm going to invite you to consider this, the end of the beginning. I too have spent most of my life waiting for the beginning. A new relationship, a career change, an opportunity, and a new version of myself. We all celebrate our beginnings because they feel exciting. They carry so much hope, so much possibility, and so much imagination. And yet there comes a moment in every meaningful journey where that beginning ends. The excitement we once felt fades. And suddenly, we can be left with something that is far more valuable than inspiration. And that is commitment. And that is the end of our beginning. And it is where our real life begins. We all love to start new things. We all love being in love. It's like we all love the start of a new book, or the first day of a new job, or the first conversation with someone that we truly admire. These beginnings that we have, they're so beautiful because they're untouched by our own reality. Because at that beginning, everything seems possible. We imagine ourselves becoming stronger, wiser, better. And there's nothing wrong with that. Hope is our fuel. Our dreams matter and our vision matters. It matters too. But eventually, that beginning meets our reality. The person that goes to the gym discovers that training is hard. And to maintain that is harder. When someone is writing their first book, they discover that the inspiration that they want is not always there to continue writing. An entrepreneur may discover setbacks. A parent discovers that being a parent, there are going to be many, many sleepless nights. And students discover difficult lessons. Not because of what we dreamed was wrong. But the beginning ended. And reality set in. I think one of the greatest misunderstandings about growth is that motivation must always be there, forever present in everything that we do. But it won't be. Our excitement that we feel is a visitor, but our commitment is a resident. There will be mornings when we feel inspired, and when our doubt sits right beside us. But that doesn't mean that we're failing. It doesn't mean that you're failing. It means that you've reached that end of the beginning. You've moved beyond the fantasy of it, and reality sets in. And that could be hard. But that is where the transformation happens. Think of a tree, steadfast. It doesn't grow because it feels motivated. It grows because it continues to grow. I think I'm going through this transition at the moment where growth just looks ordinary. And I'm waiting for something to shift, when that may have already happened. And it's spending the time to acknowledge that. But many people don't talk enough about the middle, and how messy the middle part of our growth can be. You see, many of our beginnings, they get the attention, and the endings of that receive the celebration. But the middle, that receives silence. Yet most of us tend to forget that most of life happens there. It's where our habits are built. It's where our character is formed, and newfound resilience is discovered. If you think about any great achievement in your own life, just like as a marathon runner starts his run, that race isn't won on the first mile. If you're building a house, it's not built in the first brick. Any kind of relationship isn't strengthened by a single conversation. Anything meaningful that has meant anything to us in our lives requires us to make that choice to stay present, and to stay present long after the excitement has left. The middle is teaching me to be patient, and it's teaching me to be faithful. What is it teaching you? The middle teaches us that consistency matters more than intensity. It's like a 1,000 small steps could never It's like 1,000 small steps. Could never equate to those smaller steps in between. Because to continue requires a different kind of courage that starting never had. Because when we decide to continue, when we make that choice, I will keep showing up even when I don't want to. Because to continue going requires you to trust yourself. To trust in the process. To trust that the efforts that you made today will see results in the future. When you decide that the work that you do, and it doesn't matter what it is, when you decide that that is meaningful to you, that is when you start to notice the power and the power of trusting yourself and learning to discover yourself as you navigate the process that you're going through. Because myself and maybe countless other people that we have met in our lives, and the ones we are yet to meet, they may believe that happiness waits for us at the finishing line. Because I've thought this. When I have this, I feel happy. When I feel that I'm enough, I will feel happy. When I find the relationship, I will feel happy. But life itself has a funny way of teaching us something that is really unexpected. Because at the end, there's eventually another beginning. A summit reveals another mountain. And an achievement opens a new chapter. Our fulfillment cannot just only exist in our destination. It's how we participate. It is how we show up in our learning, in our growing, in our becoming. Because the end of one beginning is not a loss. It is an invitation for us to see, to awaken to what's in front of us. To simply move from dreaming into living. I think nature is our best teacher of this. Because every season has a purpose. Imagine if spring was to last forever. Seeds would never mature. flowers would never bloom. I discovered this on my own journey, and my mentor shared this with me. The whole purpose of the human mind is to reward movement, any form. We can't just stay at the starting line forever. Eventually we must decide, we must choose to enter that territory where our growth lives. It's there for us to step into. That same territory where mistakes are made, the lessons are learned, our resilience develops, and where we gain wisdom, which is earned. We earn that. So let's think about a challenge that you've already overcome. One that you thought would break you. One where you thought that you couldn't survive. And that it seemed impossible. But look at yourself now. And who you have become because of it. Because the person that you are today, the person that I am today, was shaped by those moments where our beginnings ended. Where the certainty that we were hoping for disappeared. And yet we had no choice but to keep on walking. See, those experiences taught us lessons that no book ever could teach us. Our strength, our patience, our compassion, and most importantly, our love. You see, the difficult middle that all of us experience is the foundation for our future wisdom. It's not about becoming someone else. It's about returning to who you've always been. To arrive home. To become more fully yourself. Not by adding more layers, but by simply removing them. You know, fear and doubt may always be there, but we have a choice. It's about removing the stories that have told you all your life, I can't do this, and replacing those words and those pages in your next chapter of your own story with I can, I must, and I will. You know, are you going to continue? Will you stay? Will you trust the path that you are walking enough to keep walking? Anyone can start. But the growth that we seek are for the ones who continue. Underdogs rise, and we rise together.